Hello, this is the VA Ann Arbor Healthcare System's Office of Emergency Management training video regarding the development and implementation of an electronic emergency management inventory directory. This tool has not only been value added for internal and regional response, but an earlier version of this tool was recognized by the Joint Commission as a best practice. The version I will show you today expands upon the original inventory tool by adding greater flexibility and nimbleness in accessibility, sorting, and managing your data. Ideally, this tool bridges any potential inventory knowledge gap between the program manager, typically emergency management, and the rest of the incident management team. It's established so that anyone should be able to review your inventory directory and be able to not only identify response capabilities, but also the storage location and operationalization of these assets. I wanted to show you how simple it is to create and modify this document according to your local program needs. What you're viewing on the page right now is the inventory as it exists presently. You'll see that there's a resource type, an item description, a section for images, asset description and purpose, quantity, the location, whether it's deployment ready, the user manual training documentation, the year it's been added to inventory, the purchase price, and whether it is currently in use or it's deployed. This document, of course, can be modified according to your local program needs. You can add or delete columns that we'll talk about today. You can change the nomenclature that's used that we'll talk about today. There's great flexibility in this for you. But for the purposes of today, I'll show you how to create a template very similar to the one that I've developed here. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go up to the little gear on the top of your SharePoint page and select on Site Contents. Okay, you'll see a whole page opens up here. You're going to click Add an App. And what we've been working on is called a custom list. So you're going to click that. I'm just going to call this EM Inventory Test and create it. Okay. All right. Now, if I scroll to the bottom of this page in alphabetical order, you'll see EM Inventory Test. Select that link, and here I go. This is the list page here. So, what I want to do is I want to go to List, and I want to go to List Settings. So when I scroll down, you'll see the column section. These are the default columns that will be in place before you develop this document. So I'm going to click Create Column. And I'll simply decide the columns that I want to add. Say resource type. I can have this be a single line of text or any of these other options, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to do a choice drop-down menu. And here's where you would enter each one of those choices on a separate line. So we'll start today by saying communications radio. I can say communications computer. I can say decontamination, hazmat, food, water, hygiene. I can go on and say transportation, trailer, and so forth. You can see that I'm not populating all of the different types of resource types, but there's just a variety there. You can have it so that it's a drop-down menu, radio buttons, check boxes for multiple selections, but I will go ahead and select that. And now you see resource type has populated here as choice. And I'll create another column. And the next column will be item name. I'm just going to keep it as a single line of text, and that's really all you have to do for this one. Pretty simple. Next column, asset description or purpose. Because this one might be a little bit longer, I'm going to change this to multiple lines of text, and again, this is all pretty straightforward standard. You don't really need to edit anything here. All right, next column. Image. This one will be great if you have an image that you want to populate. I strongly recommend it. It's very useful. And again, whether you want it to be formulated as a hyperlink or as a picture, I select picture. That way the image will show up in my list. Okay, next column I'll do is quantity. This can be a single line of text, or you can force it so that it's a number. That's typically what I'll do for this one. And again, there are other options here. We'll just skip over that for now. Next column, currently in use or deployed. I'm going to use this as a yes or a no checkbox. Everything else can be fine. We're going pretty quickly here, but that's just also to show you how easy this is. Next one is going to be location of asset. Again, single line of text, multiple line of text. I'm just going to leave it as a single line of text. And this one, is it deployment ready? That's going to be something that you're going to have to identify in truth what that means to you and your facility, whether it's deployment ready. But we're going to go ahead and use it as a yes, no checkbox. And I like this one, a user manual or training documentation. This one's very helpful. It allows you to upload any user manuals, websites, if you've got any videos that you've created or you've been able to locate to support the implementation and operationalization of this asset. You can go ahead and use that. So again, I'm going to do multiple lines of text. Okay, and the next one, year added to inventory. This one's just also nice for you to know how long you've had something within your inventory, if it's going to be coming towards its end of life date, and so forth. Next one, purchase price. And again, you can do currency, you can do single line of text. If you change this, there's going to be some changes down here for the additional column settings, and we'll go ahead and finish that. So for the purposes of this document, these are all the columns that I have. You're capable of reordering them. If you want them in a different order at any point in time, you're capable of doing that without having to add or delete columns later on. Okay, so now let's go and add a specific item to this inventory. So we're going to select EM inventory test. So I'm going to add new item. So let's go ahead and add portable water, portable hand washing stations. And we'll put that under hygiene. And these are Polyjon portable hand washing stations. And they're warm water capable with power, still functional without power. Okay, so here's where we get to the fun part about the image. If you don't have an image, don't worry, you can come back and add it later. Personally, I have already uploaded images into an image directory, and I'm going to show you how you can add that at this time. All right. So on the left-hand screen, I have images here. I'll open that up. That's just a simple document library. And we'll select my images for my inventory. All right, here it is here. So I'm going to select that image. And it doesn't tell me what the URL is until I click it here. At the top, I'll select the URL when it gets me to the image itself. We can close that. We don't need that anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. Here I'll click to test, and there it is. Okay, so we have 10 of these. Currently in use or deployed? No, they are not currently in use. We store them on the 5 and North housekeeping closet. They are deployment ready. On a separate page, I have the user manual and training documentation for my web browser, so I'll just enter that URL right here. Year added to the inventory, we added those in 2015, and they were approximately $3,000. Okay, I'm going to save that. And now you'll see that it's populated in here. So portable hand washing station, food, water, hygiene, Polygon, there's the image, quantity, all of that's populated. As I look at this, I determine I don't like having the title of the asset first. I'd much rather have the resource type listed first. So what I can do is I can select list at the top, and I can do modify view and select modify view. It'll take me to this page, and it will allow me to differentiate the rank order. So I'm going to say I want resource type to be listed first and title to be listed second. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. Of course, you can make other edits on this page as well. I'll change it here, and look, it has been changed at this time. All right, so we'll add another item. Okay, let's add a radio. Motorola EX500. These are clinical radios that we have throughout the medical center. And again, if I'm trying to add an image, I'm going to go back to my inventory page. Let's see, here's that radio. Again, I'm going to do a screen grab of that URL. We've got about 20 of those. And they're located throughout the medical center. If I wanted to have an item listed in each of for each of the locations that I have, for example, if I've got one behind a nursing station on 5 East, I could include that. Another on another nursing station in the CLC, I can include that as separate line items. But for the purposes of today, I still have an inventory sheet that's got some other information. So I'm just going to say that they're all right now in the hospital command center. Oops. Here's the user manual. And we also have a locally developed training video that we can add to this. Okay, so these were added in 2014, and we'll just say they were about $500 a piece. Okay, so here you go. This is the second one. It just goes on like this until you populate your list completely. Then if you ever wanted to reorganize these and say you only want to see the radios that you have, you just select that link, and now all of the other items will drop off. Clear filters and everything will show back up. You can do that for each of these columns. You can change the ordering of them. But if we ever wanted to export this to an Excel so I can have a hard copy easily printed, I just click Export to Excel under the List tab. Click this. It's going to take a second. And here we go. Again, very similar. You can sort this way as well. All right. I don't want to save that. So if you ever wanted to go back and edit one of these items, simply click on the title. And this will show up, and click Edit. And there you have it. You can edit it within here. This concludes the basic development of this inventory document. If you have any other questions and you'd like to talk to me about any of the nuances here, feel free to reach out.